Good afternoon, everybody, especially all you early birds. Holy cow. Been sitting here for 10, 15 minutes. It's a full-time job just keeping up with you guys chatting away. Maybe I should start the countdown about 3 hours ago. I think it would bore the hell out of everybody else, but you guys are having a great time. And Tom, no, Viking 442, I didn't break my dog Bert mug. I almost brought it out here. Almost did. But as much as I get a kick out of that thing, as much as I love it, it has a lip around the top edge because of the shape of the sculpture. It goes in a little bit, and it's very, very hard to sip out of it without having some of it leak out and drip down the sides. And I thought, well, that'd be okay. That'd be okay for my morning talk out there, but on a live stream, I think it'd be a little cumbersome to try to keep contorting myself to make sure I've got a good seal against that cup so it doesn't dribble. But I love that thing. I love that thing, and as a little comic relief, it's fun to bring it out once in a while. Quite honestly, I don't even remember where I got it. I don't remember who got it for me, but whoever you are out there somewhere in the unlikely event that you're watching, thank you. Thank you, retrospectively. Wow. Wowie, we've been busy. We've been busy for the past while, chatting away. I couldn't believe it, how many people are in there. I'm not going to be able to go through one by one, I don't think, and say hello to everybody that has been around. Now, it wasn't a lot of different people. They were mostly all the private community people who've become friends because of that. And you can tell who they are. They're in the chat. They're green. That little symbol, little star in a circle after their name, depending on the color, shows you how long they've been members. We had a great live stream last Thursday. Everybody had a good time. Went a few minutes more than the full 2 hours. And thank everybody for coming. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Well, it's me, Mitch, in case you haven't figured that out. And it's Saturday afternoon, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. I hope I get a lot of you from overseas over across the pond here because of the appropriate hour. It's not the middle of the night for you guys like usually. I see we've got Jonathan here from Alaska, Bags Packed family. Hi, John. How you doing? Good to see you. I don't even know if I have anything to constitute a monologue today or not. Thoughts have been coming and going, but I didn't write any of them down. I do have my disclaimer to get out of the way. You know, if you don't know already, that I'm not a doctor. I don't give personal medical advice to anybody. And as far as nutritional advice goes, I stick to what I've experimented on myself with, what I've found has worked, how I've cured my addictions, and some of my theories and hypotheses about why these different things happen to us, and maybe some of the ways we can actually trick or hack our own physiology, not with drugs or chemicals, but with actions and timing to overcome some of these things and make it easier for us to finally enjoy that food freedom, that evasive thing that it's taken me a lifetime to achieve. And if only I had discovered this 50 years ago. But like everything else, the answer was there, hadn't been discovered yet. Like so many answers that we're still looking for these days. This morning, I hope my little talk made some sense to you. I edited it down from believe it or not, 1 hour and 10 minutes. I was talking and talking and talking, and I went from this subject to that subject. And when I finally shut the camera off, 1 hour and 10 minutes, 70 minutes. There's no way I'm going to post a 70-minute video. So I did manage to whittle it down. Tried to keep some continuity in the edit. I watched it. There was a couple places where a jump in time was obvious, either by the different angle of the sun. In one picture, I might have been lit brightly. In another one, it might have been a little darker, but did the best I could to not subject you to 1 hour and 10 minutes of me rambling. And I mean, everything I said was good and right and important. Much of it you've all heard before. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed that particular chat. I did want to talk a little bit about the upcoming week. A couple things in particular. Tomorrow, I will be doing, on Sunday, I'll be doing my morning coffee. I'll bring Dilbert again. Dogbert, excuse me, for you guys. And I got a kick out of a lot of the comments on that video. How many of you actually recognized Dogbert and knew who that character was? And it's tough to be unhappy and pissed off when you're drinking out of a coffee cup like that. And tomorrow afternoon, I'm going to post my second pork belly video, which is in the can, but not edited yet. So I'll be editing that probably later today so that I can edit my morning video and get them both out tomorrow. I'm not going to, no spoilers on this one, folks. The suspense, I know the suspense is killing you. I know some of you are rooting for me to fail. Some of you are rooting for me to succeed. And I hope it doesn't keep any of you up at night, which I don't think is going to happen. But tomorrow afternoon, probably because it's a weekend, a little earlier, maybe 1:30 or so. Anyway, look for that. I appreciate it. If you want to know how to get a lot of views on YouTube, just tell people you failed. It never fails. That was my #1 video of the week, was the one where I failed and made what looked like horrible dog food from that pretty piece of pork belly. So, hope you look forward to that. On Monday, I have my dentist appointment was put off from last week. I have to be in Orlando at 11 o'clock, which means I have to leave my house no later than like 9:45, which means if I get out there right at the crack of dawn, don't talk for an hour and some, just record a morning video, get in, do a screaming quick edit, manage to get it uploaded. There'll be a video Monday morning from me. If you see no video from me Monday morning, sorry, the timing just didn't work out. If I've got it recorded and edited, I might put it out in the afternoon when I get home. So I can't be as reliable, and you can't count on my schedule as much as normal. If it's that important to you, I'm flattered. I don't expect it to be. And it'll be the same video whether it comes out at between 10 and 11 in the morning, or if it comes out at 2 or later in the afternoon when I get home. But probably won't have time on Monday to make a second video, which I've been trying to do, because now I am full-time on YouTube. I mean, this is what I consider my full-time job, and I'm trying to work it like a full-time job and just produce this stuff. Luckily, I don't run out of what to talk about. Luckily, we have to keep repeating ourselves for all the new people and as a pep talk for the older viewers. Thank you, Lori. Wish me good luck on Monday. On Tuesday, it's going to be a very interesting day. I may record a Tuesday morning coffee video, but there is no way that I will get it released. Maybe not even on Tuesday at all, because I have to leave early in the morning to drive to Tampa for our meetup at the Terra Gaucho Steakhouse on Dale Mabry, South Dale Mabry, just south of Kennedy Boulevard in Tampa. We're going to have what seems like at least 30 people there. Michael Seeley, I found out how to pronounce his name, did the legwork, and I'm so appreciative of that. And maybe the last time he ever volunteers to do that, because it is a lot more work. And Tom said he's going to be at that meeting, and I'm looking forward to meeting you, Tom. I am tentatively, if the logistics will allow it, and I can get a strong enough 5G cell signal, I really, really want to do a live stream on Monday from the meetup. I have no idea what it's going to be like. The last time I did a location live stream was at the Keto conference in Orlando, where I set up my little folding chair in the parking lot, lit up a cigar. I ended up having 60 or 70 people actually come to that live stream. Now I've got 68 people now on a publicized live stream. So, and this live stream usually is going to top out in the 100 and something. At one point, it's approached 200, but I guess that's the way it goes with these things. They always, when they're brand new and nobody knows what to expect, you do get more viewers. But these Saturday ones usually get an average of 120, 130 people. So we'll see. And if I don't get that, I'm not going to think it's me. Couldn't possibly be. I will just assume there's something going on. It is a weekend, and here in Florida right now, it's gorgeous weather. Sun is shining. It's dry. It's not screaming hot. So I'm sure people with families have other things to do than watch me sit here and talk on Saturday afternoon. But I'm going to try to do a live stream from there. I can't tell you when. I can't tell you if it's even going to happen. But if you happen to be anywhere near YouTube, like most of you seem to be, and catch a notification on these things, stop on in. It ought to be very, very interesting, and should stimulate your appetite as you watch us all eat meat. You'll also, if you do, unless there's a change, get to meet Kiltsy again. Dr. Kiltz is going to be there, and Annette Bosworth. Dr. Boz is going to be there, and some followers of each of them are also going to be there. So it's going to be a very interesting little meeting, totally unscripted. I have no idea what's going to happen. Just going to wing it. So that's Tuesday. So on Tuesday, there may not be any videos from me. Unless I get something in the can tomorrow and just hold it till Tuesday. I might do that, but don't worry if it just seems erratic from me over the next couple of days and outside the norm. Nothing's wrong. Actually, it's all pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. So thank you for listening to that. And man, I have to scroll like crazy just to get up to the top of this chat here. And a couple of you kind of monopolized. Ellen, it looks like, is the first one that I have here. It's at 10:30 this morning. And she's been talking to Turamir, and the two of them have been going back and forth. And even Lori Weitzel chimed in here about 10:36 this morning. And it's been going back and forth between Ellen, who's Scooby the dog, and Turamir, and back and forth and back and forth. And a lot of chatting going on there. A lot of heavy-duty conversation, and let me get past all of that. I'm still scrolling past it. Holy cow. Here we go. And then we also have Michael Seeley, United Carnivore. Just talked about him, and he chimed in at 11:23. And he's the one that put together the Tampa meetup for us over there, did the legwork. Want to thank him. And then his father, who lives over here with me in Melbourne, is going to ride over there with me, and his name is also Michael. So that's Michael Seeley Sr. He chimed in. My buddy Jody, Drone Shots, my old drone guys, always comes into these things. Good to see you, Jody. How you doing? And Peter, Papa Carnivore. And as of Thursday night, Peter was sick, but yesterday I think I saw a comment from him that said he was feeling better. So glad to hear that. He had what sounded like a hell of a case of the flu. Juan Manuel is here from Chile. Juan, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Less Junk, More Health is here. And they continued to chat away, and now we're getting up to a point in this stream of chats that is coming up on the 10-minute count, the 5-minute countdown. Naruto Kun, how you doing, Naruto? Good to see you. And then I came along and welcomed everybody, and that was at 2:46 p.m. And the saying, CB Carmack chimed in shortly thereafter, on duty, so can't guarantee I won't be interrupted. Well, you're a sheriff, man. You got to be out there patrolling. Give them hell. Stay safe. Stay safe. Steve Rogers came in. Hiya, Steve. I'm attending my first live chat ever, Steve says. Hey, isn't that great? Good to see you, and I'm glad to see you are participating away in the chat. And Satya is here. Satya Khalsa, how you doing, sweetie? Good to see you. Saw her Thursday night in our panel in the live stream on Thursday. Susan M., how you doing, Susan? Says hello to everybody. And see if we can't catch some of the newer people as they chime in. Tom here. Viking 442 from Tampa. How you doing, Tom? Chatty bunch. Holy cow. And we have Sandy Blythe here today. Hiya, Sandy. Says hi there. How you doing? Everybody's saying hi to Sandy. And Tina Schweikerath is here. Good to see the same people. Haven't scared them away yet. And then my friend Jonathan, Bags Packed Family, came in and said, morning, Mitch, looking forward to a cigar this week. And if you remember correctly, Jonathan stopped at my house on his way coming back to live in the United States after 9 years in Indonesia with a very large YouTube channel, doing travel and adventure videos with his family all over Indonesia. And he stopped, and we sat on my back porch and talked for a couple hours, had a nice cigar. And over the course of the time that he's been following me, which is basically from the beginning, we've become friends. And we made a commitment that we were not going to lose touch with each other. So we finally settled in to doing a video chat with each other every Wednesday night. He's at home in Alaska now. I'm down here in Florida. And he comes over for a cigar. And it's just what it's like. Or I go over to his place for a cigar, depending on whose device you happen to be looking at the time. And we've been doing this for a few weeks now. And I look forward to it. So it's really nice. It's one of the benefits and one of the good things that this technology brings us, along with all of the problems and troubles that it causes. But yeah, John, I am going to be there Wednesday night, and we will have our cigar. Did I say hi to Sandy? Sandy Blythe likes the music. Thank you. Thank you. There's very few songs I can use anymore that I'm pretty sure aren't going to get flagged for copyright violations by YouTube. They just keep getting deeper and deeper into music that shouldn't be copyrighted, but somebody managed legally or illegally to submit a copyright claim to them, and they're not taking any chances. They're just honoring any claim that anybody submits on anything. I'm going to submit a copyright claim on our national anthem, and they'll probably honor it. It's crazy. But it limits it unless I want to subscribe to one of these fairly expensive music services that licenses me to use that music in YouTube videos. But I don't use a lot of music. If I was a person that was making videos that always needed a lot of music, like I did in my drone days, because when you were flying a drone, you always wanted to put music behind the flights because it just was something that I like to do. It was more cinematic. But so you may hear a few different songs on my channel. The music that I play when I light my cigar, so far they haven't claimed that one. And my song that I use as an intro and outro on most of my videos, they haven't claimed that one. So we're going to stick with those for a while. Isabella's here. How you doing? Jonathan says, the kids and I've got bacon in the oven, about to crack some eggs, 11 a.m. here in Alaska. I am proud of you, John. That's glad to hear that. Get your kids eating that, and then you can, little by little, sneak all that crap out of the house so they and just keep stuffing bacon and eggs down them. Gary Williams is here. How you doing? Another day in paradise. It is. And Altiora Jim. Is that a person or a place? From Spain. How you doing? Wow. Good to see you. Laurie Rivido turned 71 yesterday. Happy birthday. 3.5 years. Keto, animal-based for the last 9 months and feel better than I did 30 years ago. 90 pounds down and no meds. Yeah, you deserve that. That's for sure. Congratulations. You should be very proud of yourself. Not an easy accomplishment. Grandma Prepper's here from South Carolina. How you doing? Good to see you. I think I said hi to Tom. Dogbert Dribble. That's it. That's what my cup's got. It's got the Dogbert Dribble. And who haven't I said hello to? Moorhan, a regular on Saturday. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. And bear with me while I scroll past all the people I've already said hello to. We've got Peter Kruger's here. Hi, Peter from South Africa. Man, this is truly an international live stream. Boggles my mind. I mean, think about this. I'm sitting here in front of a microphone in my house in Melbourne, Florida. There's people watching me from Europe, Spain, South Africa. I know there's a few Australians that watch these regularly. It boggles my mind. It absolutely does. Tracy Jordan. Hi, Mitch. Happy Saturday from Ottawa, Canada. We got the Canadians are represented here, too. Super. And Pamela Suarez. Hi, Pamela. Good afternoon to you, too. Mr. D. Here's a question you don't hear too often in this world. What are tips to get more fat? I recently started finally chopping beef trimmings and frying them. I've been doing an 80-20 mix lately. Well, you can always add butter to things. You can always add butter if you think you need more fat. Buy a fat or mix of burger and make sure when you've rendered the fat into the pan, and if you end up with patties, pour the fat back over it. Eat a lot of bacon and eat a lot of eggs. When you eat eggs, you can't help but get a lot of fat because eggs are by weight 50% fat. That's why I eat bacon and eggs every day. Then I don't have to worry, am I getting enough other fat in my second meal of the day? Because I know that 6 out of 7 days a week, I get plenty of fat in my first meal. And on those days when I may eat some salmon or some other fatty food for my first meal, then I don't even worry about it on that day either. That would be what I would suggest that you do. There's 100 million videos out there on YouTube that tell you how to up the fat content. And the way to tell is the consistency of your stools. And if they're hard and rock-like, you're not getting enough fat. If they're loose, you're getting too much fat. And that tells you how to adjust the fat level and whether you indeed even need to worry about it or do anything about it. Did I say hi? Yeah, I said hi to Steve Rogers. This is his first live stream, and all you guys are just chatting away now. I don't see any more new names, but I got 86 people here, so somebody's here and not chatting. Here we go. Here's somebody I haven't seen. Booby Goats, how you doing? Says hi everyone. And Mark C is here. Good afternoon, Mark C. How are you, my friend? Good to see you. Tim Matheny here now. Miss Tandy to the party. How you doing? Tink. I don't know why I keep calling it Tim. Tink Matheny. Miss Tardy. So, Tink is a she. I know that, and I think what it is the way Tink looks with my glasses that are actually too strong right now, and I need to get, my eyes are getting better. My glasses are too strong, and it blurs up some of this stuff. And for some reason, when I just glance at that first name of yours, it actually looks like Tim to me. And I know I've done that to you many times, and I apologize. Tink Matheny. Thank you for coming. Feral Grandma, I think I've said hi to you. So saying hi to everybody. Steve Studley's here. How you doing, Steve? Good to see you. And he's saying hi to everybody now. And it's a friendly bunch of people. We got a great community here. Oh, man, look at this. I got to lean in. Welcome, Nairb. Wow. Watching from Chiang Mai, Thailand. Oh, cool. We're going completely around the world now, guys. God, I'm getting nervous here. Nobody ever told me I'd have to entertain the entire planet. I need a drink. Quicker Ticker. How you doing, my friend? And Patrick C is here. Hi, Patrick. From Hawaii. How's everything out in Hawaii these days? I love that place. I don't know if I'll ever get back anymore because my traveling days are pretty much at an end, but I've been there many times. Been there many times to most of the islands. I was in Kauai before the big hurricane that ruined so much of it, way back. And I think that was one of the most beautiful islands. I did take a helicopter tour around that island. It was really something, really something. Nobody's going to feel sorry for you, Patrick, living in Hawaii. Wesley8191 says, hi, old guy. Well, hi to you, my friend. We have Louise Kelly from Cold Spring, Texas. Hi, Louise. And Bill Streety. Hello, everybody. I'm just here to watch. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. So many people, over 1,000 people every time I do a live stream, do watch the replay. I don't know whether they just click on and click off. I have no way of knowing. Or they actually watch a lot of it. We have Reno. Too Little here. How are you doing? It's an interesting name, Too Little. I'm sure there's some hidden meaning behind that. I know I said hi to Turamir because he's been in the chat constantly, but in case I missed him. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. And I think I have gotten myself down to the bottom of the chat. The last entry I see here is CB Carmack. And Pamela Suarez just chimed in, and I think that is. And right after Pamela is Isabella with a question. I'm at it again, was on and off carnivore for many months now, but I made my peace, will throw my scale away if I must this time. I am struggling with cravings, eating butter to help it. Have you tips? Well, I have video, not just tips, but whole videos about it. I'm sure the butter will help, but I think what helps more, when you finally convince yourself to stop agonizing over what the scale says, and that's the hardest part. It's the hardest thing that I've said that, how many times have I said throw away the scale? I wish I had $10 right now for every time I said throw away the scale. I wouldn't have to do this anymore. But when I actually talk to people, I say, have you thrown away the scale? Have you been able to stay off the scale? Well, no, I'm just curious. They just always find a reason. And it makes sense to them. They don't understand the psychological importance of that one suggestion that I make. Don't worry about your weight. It only, there's a couple of things that can happen. You might lose weight, in which case early on, and I'm talking about the first 3-4 weeks of any diet, not just carnivore. Most of the weight you lose, if you've cut out the sugar, is all the water that's attached to all the sugar, because every sugar molecule has a molecule of water with it. So you live in the bathroom, you're peeing all the time, and water weighs 7 pounds a gallon, and everybody can lose 5 pounds in 2 days. But invariably, you'll put that weight right back on as you rehydrate. And it's that initial just euphoria. Oh my God, this is great. Imagine how much I'm going to lose in a month if I've lost 5 pounds in 2 days. And you start in your mind extrapolating that level of weight loss out ahead. And then you expect to lose that much weight. It can't happen. Physiologically, it is impossible. If you even go by the calories in, calories out method, 3,500 calories is what they say is in 1 pound of fat, which means if you're trying to diet that way, in order to lose a pound of fat, you have to have a 3,500 calorie deficit every day to lose a pound a day. It's impossible. You can't. Your metabolism is burning 2,000 plus or minus calories a day. The best you could do is eat nothing and lose half a pound a day. And hoping your body has the ability or still retains the ability to burn some of that stored fat. But if your insulin is jacked way up and that hasn't come down yet, your body's not going to let go of that fat. So here's what happens. Your body can't burn its stored fat. You may have hundreds of pounds of fat on you. You may have millions and millions of calories on you. You can't. Your fat cells won't let them go if the insulin's high. You've cut what you're eating. You've cut what, I'll get back to that one in a second. I didn't mean to click on it. You'll get what you're eating very little calories, so you're not getting energy from that. You're basically a sugar burner. Your body can store 1 day worth of sugar. So even with all that fat you have stored on your body, after 1 day, your brain thinks you're starving to death and it needs sugar and it needs it quick, and it will do anything it can to drive you to find and eat sugar. This is the most basic of our survival mechanisms inherited from millions of years of life before us. We do this to ourselves all the time and then wonder why I can't fight my cravings. Because nobody can fight cravings like that. It's impossible. And then we blame ourselves. We say, oh, we're weak. We should have willpower. It's impossible. And if you want to find out how impossible it is to not be hunting sugar like your life depended on it, even while you're carrying hundreds of pounds of fuel around with you, there's one other thing you can experiment and try to do to find out if you can actually override the imperatives you get from your subconscious mind when it thinks you're dying. Do you understand the setup to this experiment? When your subconscious mind is convinced you're dying, it does not allow you to have conscious control over the actions that you take. Period. And the experiment is hold your breath until you die. Try it. You can't even hold your breath till you pass out. You'll start to breathe. It's impossible. No human being can do this or ever has done it. It is impossible. You cannot have that kind of control to kill yourself consciously. And that's what your brain thinks you're doing when you're not eating sugar. It can't get to the fuel you're storing, and you're not giving it hardly any food because you're on a diet, and they told you to limit your calories. And to make matters worse, while you're limiting these calories, what are you doing? You're moving more and you're expending more energy, which worsens the problem and further increases your cravings. It never has worked. It never will work. The strongest willed people can torture themselves and suffer through this bullshit for a while, but nobody has ever sustained it for a lifetime. And here we come. We want to be on carnivore, but we've all got that diet mindset. We all think that the less we eat, the more weight we're going to lose, because that's all that matters. I have to be thin, and that'll make me pretty or handsome. And members of the opposite sex will dig me. That's my priority. And that's another natural thing. The only reason we want to be so pretty is to attract members of the opposite sex. That's where that drive comes from. And that's the most important drive in human animals, and any animal, is the urge to reproduce. And that's where the word attractive comes from. Attractive means you're going to attract a mate. So we all want to be attractive, and we want to go after people that are attractive. There are natural reasons why that is true also, and those reasons are all rooted in the survival of the species, what worked and what didn't work. So, back to your question. You're still getting cravings, you're eating butter. When you start to get cravings, don't let them develop into full-blown. Don't let your subconscious panic and take all control away from you, because it will. And you'll be headed to the 7-Eleven if you don't have anything at home. I found myself headed to the all-night drugstore at 3 o'clock in the morning. Driving my car, 3 o'clock in the morning. I had to have ice cream. And the whole trip I was telling myself, what the hell are you doing, Mitch? Why are you in your car? Turn around. Go home. You know you don't want to eat this stuff. I never turned around. I never went home. I bought the ice cream. And I ate all of it that I could eat until I almost got sick when I got home. That's out of control. That's exactly the meaning of the phrase, out of control. You have no control. So as soon as you start getting these little cravings, eat a meal, not a snack, not a bite. Start eating until you're completely satisfied and all the hunger goes away. And if you've got to eat 5 meals like that a day and 10,000 calories, do it. People refuse to do that because they're so worried about gaining a pound that they won't do that. And that's what you need to do, or you're going to be in this never-ending cycle of starving and craving and starving and craving for the rest of your life, just like you have been previously, just like I was for all those years. Being on a diet and then gaining it all back. Being on a diet. It's a merry-go-round. So even though it goes against everything you think is going to be productive, the one thing that's going to happen if you do that and you don't eat any carbohydrates or sweet tasting foods or anything else you know that triggers a craving, it's going to be a rough couple of weeks. But one thing you're not going to be is hungry. You're going to be the opposite of hungry. You're going to be in a frame of mind where you've eaten so much you look at food and say, oh man, I couldn't eat another bite. And at that point, you don't get cravings. Cravings don't happen to you when you're at that level of food disgust because your leptin hormone is flowing like crazy, trying to signal your brain to stop eating already. Wait, don't eat. And if it takes 4 hours for you to get hungry again or to get a craving again, just don't eat. I don't care if it's lunchtime or dinner time or breakfast time or what the clock says. Just eat according to your body's signals. The first month or two is going to be like this. But what's going to happen to you in that first month or two? You're going to wake up your fat-burning pathways. Because you're not eating sugar, your insulin is going to normalize. The insulin levels are going to come down. Your fasting insulin is going to come down. You're not going to get insulin spikes because you're not eating any sugar. That lower level of insulin in your bloodstream will be interpreted by your fat cells and will take you out of fat storage mode, and they'll open their gates. It's time to stop storing away fat. It's time to start using this fuel. That's what it's there for. The reason we gain so much weight is we never spend any time in fat burning mode. We always have high insulin if we're eating all this sugar. Most of us become diabetics. That high insulin never allows the fat cells to open their gates and let the fat out. It only allows the fat in. It thinks because you're eating survival food, which is what sugar and carbohydrates are, that there is a famine. There is no meat or fat or protein or all the stuff it's supposed to eat. There's only this sugar crap, which we eat as a last resort to survive. That's how it's been for hundreds of millions of years with living things. Most living things that have the physiology that we have, that are carnivores, or have turned into carnivores at some point, because after so many years of only having the meat and fat available as food, our physiology has changed. Everything in us has changed. We lost organs. We lost our hind gut. That's where our appendix is. Our teeth changed. Everything changed over millions and millions of years of evolution to where we are now equipped to be a carnivorous animal. We don't have four-chambered stomachs like a cow. We don't have the machinery and the bacteria to ferment the fiber and produce free fatty acids. There is chemistry and logic to all of this. But for people who don't want to do deep dives into biochemistry and don't care about how cellular mechanics work and cellular biology, it's simple to remember. If your insulin is high, you cannot give up fat. You can only store fat. If your insulin is low, you will give up fat until you reach a ideal, optimal weight for your body, in which case you'll be using your fat cells as temporary storage. Kind of like you do with money. That's kind of like how you use your side pocket in your pants. Money goes into it, comes out of it. Comes in, you spend something, change goes in. Change comes out. You go to the ATM, you take $40 because you think you're going to need it. You never have your life savings in your hip pocket, hopefully. It doesn't just keep going in and keep going in, and it doesn't just keep coming out. It's just a temporary place to store it, and that's pretty much the way our fat cells are supposed to be used, and they are used like that in a healthy person. You've got to get yourself back to that level of physiology, but that takes time because you have to burn up so much of that excess fat. You have to reawaken those particular pathways in your cells. But most importantly, and I know I go on and on about this, you have to get your insulin down. Everybody talks about insulin. They all talk about the fat storage hormone. Insulin does a lot of different things in our body. You know, you've heard about the Randall cycle. Well, it's basically insulin that determines what the Randall cycle is doing, and it's deciding whether your cell is burning fat or sugar. All of this stuff pretty well hinges on the level of insulin. And the only way to keep your insulin at a healthy level is to not eat carbohydrates in excess. And when you eat carbohydrates, if you're a keto or ketovore person or a low carb person, is to eat what they call low glycemic carbohydrates, like the vegetables. And stay away from anything made with grains or flour, fructose. And you can still be healthy, depending on your metabolism and depending on the level of carb addiction. Now, if you're a carb addict, all bets are off, because once you start, you can't stop and you end up in a box of donuts. So that's why I concentrate on carb addiction. Over the last 100 years, our entire nation has become addicted to sugar. No thanks to the food companies who have scientists working on just that very thing to make their food more irresistible, hit the bliss point, and more addictive. Why wouldn't they're a drug manufacturer, the food companies? Why wouldn't they want the cigarette companies did the same thing with nicotine? You know, if you're going to be selling a product, why not make it more addictive if you can figure out the science? That's a long answer, but it's an answer that people can't hear often enough, I don't think. You got to cement that firmly in your mind. You got to stop eating the carbs. That'll trigger your insulin to go lower and stay lower. That'll let you start burning up your own body's fat. That eventually, after a month or two, your brain will actually get the message that you're not starving to death, that there's plenty of energy there because your insulin is low and you can get to it. Once your brain gets the message that the energy is low, the energy is there, it's not going to panic as much that you're going to die. And when it stops panicking that you're going to die, it stops urging you and giving you the imperative to go out, search out, and consume and gorge on survival food. It's just a very easy chain of events to remember. And if you remember, and I need to start talking about it like this, I think, more and more. If you can remember this, the first thing before anything else can happen is you have to get your insulin down to normal. What raises insulin? Eating too much sugar. And when I say sugar, I mean carbohydrate. Because a bagel is sugar. Toast is sugar. Pasta is sugar. It's all carbs, especially grains. Legumes, all carbs. Fruit, especially. Sugar. You cannot get your insulin down when you eat that stuff. That's what causes you to become a diabetic or a pre-diabetic. So step one, get your insulin down. Keep your insulin down. Well, how do I do that when I get these cravings that force me to eat sugar? You do that by not eating sugar, but by eating more meat and fat. Well, can I eat too much meat and fat? No, you can't. Not in the first week, or nobody's going to ever die from eating too much meat over a period of a few weeks or a month. So the second imperative that you have, the second thing you must remember is it's great to get your insulin down, but if you don't kick the cravings, it's a moot point. So how do I kick the cravings? I eat. I don't allow myself to get hungry. That's one of my basic rules. But first, you have to stop worrying about losing weight, because everything that you do, especially when I'm telling you to eat more food, will go against your basic your basic understanding of why you're on a, quote, diet, and that is weight loss. Weight loss doesn't matter. I don't care if you gain a couple of pounds the first month or two. If you can affect that physiological change in your body, if you can get your insulin normalized, if you can do whatever it takes, if it costs you a couple extra pounds to be able to kick the cravings and not eat the sugar, you've accomplished your goal. Because here's what happens. As your brain starts to learn, and that's the key to kicking any habit. That's why they say it takes 30 days to kick a habit, because it pretty much takes that much time for your brain, your subconscious, to actually learn that we're indeed not starving to death. I don't have to be on a constant lookout for sugar anymore. And after about 30 days, 3 weeks, 30 days, those cravings will diminish by about 90%, and you won't want to eat that much food anymore. You'll find you start to eat a lot less. You get satisfied quicker. You actually start to burn your stored fat. So you may even eat less, because once your body has access to your stored fat, it doesn't even need food. You have enough stored on you usually to live for 6 months with no food. So there will be no panic. And the longer you go in that state without anything to remind your brain of what it used to be like, on the edge of death of starvation, like a cheat meal, a cheat day, a cheat bite of food, sets you back in ways you can't imagine. So all of these people who say, I'm on dirty keto, I'm on dirty carnivore, you're not fooling anybody but yourself. You cannot succeed, and you never will, unless you're not a carbohydrate addict. So we've got 10 to 20% of people out there who aren't carbohydrate addicts, bragging and telling the rest of us how to be dirty keto and dirty carnivore, and trying to convince us, oh, it works just fine because it works for me. That'd be like me trying to convince an alcoholic that he can have up to 1 drink a week and it's okay, because I can. Forget about the fact that I don't even have 1 drink a week. I don't like alcohol. I never drink it. I'm the furthest thing from an alcoholic on the planet Earth. Who the hell am I to give advice to alcoholics about how to kick their habit? And anybody who's not a carb addict should not be giving dietary advice in the keto and carnivore space. It's useless and destructive. These are probably the guys making fortunes on YouTube telling you how to make carnivore pasta. That's a whole nother story. Anyway, that's a long answer to that question, and holy cow, that was about 20-some minutes. That ought to make a video of its own. But these are things that are so simple, basic things that you understand. And you don't even have to think about any of this, because after the 3 weeks or a month, or in some hard cases, 2 months, just listen to your body. Eat when you're hungry. Stop when you feel satisfied. It goes on autopilot. And surprisingly enough, you'll get on the scale. You'll think, oh my God, I must have gained, I was eating 8,000 calories a day. I must have gained 30 pounds. You'll find out you actually lost 10 pounds. Everybody does. Then if you want to, for curiosity's sake, bring the scale back. But there's no need. Unless you're having cheat days, unless you're not staying faithful to eating the appropriate diet, you'd get on a scale once a week. And if it goes up a pound or down a pound, it's most likely fluid retention or something else. But this business is about monitoring everything, every minute of every day, plugging yourself into machines, trying to micromanage everything you put in your mouth. Does not work. That was what my talk was about this morning, about keep it simple. The simpler you can keep it, every aspect of it, the more likely you are to stay on it, because the less bother it is and the less you're likely to screw it up. Most often, by interfering with our own physiology, all we do is make it work. We're always looking for that next magic thing, whether it be a supplement, and there's no shortage of people out there selling them. Every other video on YouTube is somebody trying to sell you some magic answer to this. Sometimes I think I'm my own worst enemy on YouTube. I try to tell it like it is and not sugarcoat any of it. And the only thing I'm selling here is what I have to do to make some kind of a living doing this. So I set up my Amazon links, which don't cost you any money and help me out. And if you think I'm helping you, you can buy me a coffee or use my Amazon links. You're not obligated to. It's not a product. It's not. I'm not trying to say, like somebody put in one of my comments today, one of these hot-looking young carnivore chicks is selling these face masks with the red lights in them. What I've done on my YouTube channel is, in anybody's video, any carnivore or keto provider, any of them, I don't care how big they are, if I see a thumbnail with any combination of the words carnivore or keto and the name of any what would normally be an addictive food, like carnivore pizza crust, carnivore hamburger buns, carnivore pasta, carnivore cheesecake, I hide the channel. I go right to it. YouTube don't recommend this channel anymore, and I don't have to see that stuff. It got to the point where more than half of the videos YouTube was recommending to me would have sabotaged my efforts if I didn't know what I know, and I wasn't able to recognize them for what they are. And what they are is an attempt to make a lot of money for the person putting them out there by letting you think that you can continue to have pizza, pasta, cheesecake, chocolate chip cookies. I saw that one yesterday. The keto chocolate chip cookie. You can't. If that chocolate chip cookie had no carbs and no calories, it would still trigger your carb addiction just because it looked like a cookie. Sounds like a strange thing to believe. But when you reach for that cookie that you can identify as a cookie and put it in your mouth and it tastes sweet, you have given your brain a cookie. Now, what it expected to come from that cookie may not follow, but your brain wants a cookie. It doesn't care if it's cardboard, really. You have an addiction to something that looks like that. So you can satisfy your addiction with just your eyes. Don't believe me? Anybody don't believe me? Are you guys even listening to me anymore? You don't believe me that you can just see something and it can start all kinds of physiological cascades and different reactions in your body. You don't believe me? This may be a little off color. Think about sex. Think about how stimulated you can get by just looking at something. It's happened to all of us. It's the reason for the existence of the internet itself. Internet porn. It's why the internet exists. It's responsible for, because people can get that excited just with their eyes. Any of you who think that that same mechanism doesn't work when you're looking at food, just think about how triggered you get when you see the window in a bakery. When you go a step further and take something that looks like that and actually put it in your mouth and eat it, you are sabotaging all of your efforts. You cannot do it, not once, not once. For the same reasons an alcoholic cannot have one drink ever, never again. If you're an addict. If you're not an addict, don't tell me I'm wrong. You can't know. And everybody out there that disagrees with what I just said is not an addict. They can't possibly know. They can't possibly know. So that's just the sad fact and the truth. That's why I have vowed to never eat an intentional carb again. I eat a carb that might be in an egg or meat, but you can't avoid that or else you'd eat nothing. But to eat something with a sweet taste or eat something that I knowingly have seen on the label that it has carbs, no. Have I cured my addiction where it wouldn't bother me now? Maybe, but I'm not going to take that chance. I know how long it took to actually get rid of these cravings and how much effort and dedication it took. Fortunately, because I was well nourished, and this carnivore lifestyle will allow you to have the food freedom and not have the cravings. So, Reno Too Little says that I'm opening Pandora's box. I'm giving you real examples that everybody can identify with. Because if you can't identify with what I'm saying, if I can't, you'll never believe it. You'll say, oh, that old fart doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm a realist. Anyway, that burned up the rest of the first hour. Let me see if I got any coffee left. I hope I'm not boring all of you. Mark Davis is here. Hi, Mark. I see you. Oh, and Isabella just gave me a super chat. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mitch. You are my favorite. Sending love from Croatia. Oh, thank you so much, Isabella. Appreciate that. And I saw Mark Davis's name for the first time. He just chimed in here. He says, I have an earache. Sorry, Mark. I hope it's not from me. But thank you so much, Isabella. Very much appreciated. It says #1 on the sticker. Wow. But you don't see that because this chat doesn't show the actual. But in your chat window, you'll see the #1 sticker. Spanky's here, Golf Addict. Good to see you. A lot of dedication for you, Mitch. You're the man. I can't seem to be as strict. Well, nobody can. You're among the majority, Spanky. You're, and that's Golf Addict's name, Spanky. You're like most people. You haven't thoroughly accepted the things that I'm saying as absolute, indisputable facts about how the body works, how the mind works, the psychology of addiction, the power of the brain. These are things nobody talks about. Very few people talk about it on YouTube. Mostly they're just talking about, here are the foods you can eat, here's a recipe, and here's how to make a carnivore chocolate chip cookie. It's absurd. And the reason nobody talks like I talk, because you can't make a living talking like I talk, because nobody wants to hear it. And instead of, I got 92 people watching me here this afternoon, instead of 2,000 people. Since I'm not answering medical questions and people think they're going to get their doctor's visit for $10, like Ken Berry and Chafee do, I don't get them either. I'm trying to help everybody. Appreciate the super chat. I got another one here. Wow, look at this. This is from Max Strulin. Thank you. SEK. What's an SEK? Let me see. SEK is a South Korean. Well, thank you very much. That's about $10. I appreciate that, my friend. I think I got that right. Yep. Very nice of you. Thank you so much. And that also says #1. Wow. Yes, sir. I will give that a heart. And I also will give a heart to Isabella's. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. I learn something every day. South Korea. Wow. That amazes me. Thank you, my friend. Very nice of you. Okay. Let me search for some questions. If you have a question for me, QQQ. 3 capital Q's in the before your question, and I may find it. Okay, Isabella had a question. I'm at it again. Well, we got that question already. That's what I think spurred that big long speech of mine. And so far, that's the only thing in the chat that I see that has 3 Q's in front of it. So I was remiss in telling you to put 3 Q's. Yes, is Swedish, SEK is Swedish crowns? Really? It says Swedish krona. Yeah, Swedish krona. Krona, I guess, is a crown. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I Googled it. That's questions like that. Since there's no political motivation for Google to propagandize them, you usually get a pretty accurate answer, especially when you're doing conversions, weight conversions, currency conversions, things like that. Mitch says, I didn't remember that. Welcome, Nairb, N-A-I-R-B, Nairb. Yeah, I said that one before. Mitch, you got the whole world watching. Here he goes. Lanier Harper says, question, have you cooked your pork belly? Yes, I have. I have a video. I made it. I made it today. I haven't edited it yet. I will be releasing it. I kind of mentioned this earlier in the stream. I'm going to release it tomorrow. I do have a verdict, but I'm not telling. Need the curiosity. But yes, I did. Yes, I did. And I still have other things to do with it. I did another method. And so much of of the direction that I'm going in with that stuff is thanks to you guys. I got so many helpful hints in the comments on that pork belly fail video of how you do it, that I decided to try some of those things, and I did, and I'll let you know how it worked out tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon, probably 1:30, I'll release that video, and I think you'll find it entertaining. And I'm not done yet. I'm not done. I still had a couple more things I want to make. So this is going to turn into a 3 to 4 video series of my adventures trying to figure out not just how to cook pork belly and make it good, but if it's even possible. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. See another question here. I saw it in this chat over here. Yes, from Spanky. Where is it? I don't see it. There it is. You ever watch Bill Maher or John Oliver? Sometimes you just got to throw up your hands and say WTF. Yeah. No, I don't watch Bill Maher or John Oliver. I just don't. Sorry. They got nothing. Neither one of those guys, as far as I'm concerned, has anything for me. I know which side of the political spectrum Bill Maher's on. John Oliver, I don't even know who that is. I don't pay attention to most of those guys. Don't watch any of late night entertainment guys. I could care less what they think about anything, medicine, politics, or anything. They're entertainers. Most of them try to figure out what their audience wants. All of them would be much better off if they just stayed the hell out of that and kept their opinions to themselves. I try desperately to do that. It ain't easy to do, unfortunately. So, sorry. Spanky, can't help you on that one. We'll just go down the chat here. We have Boyd Lamb. Sugarcoat, triggered. Yes, Boyd. For sure. And you're still talking to each other, giving each other advice. Tom thinks they're morons. Well, that's a kind way of saying what I was kind of intimidating. I mean, I do agree with Bill Maher on some of his positions. But if I told you what they were, that would probably make some of you hate me. So you can't win no matter what you do. No matter what you do. Robbie Gibson says, I was trying to heart my comment. Well, I don't know how you would do that, but if you can, fine. If not, I will. Accept the heart in spirit. In spirit. Steve Rogers says, I've had good results using pork belly recipes from Dr. Boz on her video list. Cool. I'll ask her about it. I'm going to see her Tuesday. Annette Bosworth. I met her at the Keto Summit last year and spent a good deal of time talking to her. And she lives in Tampa, so she's going to be there unless something comes up. And I also understand there's a possibility that she's going to be coming into that lunch to break a 3-day fast. I don't know if it's such a good idea to eat a huge quantity of food after a 3-day fast. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see. Robbie Gibson, I need to join up. Good morning to you. Well, thank you, Robbie. I think you'd enjoy, if you're talking about the private community, I think you'd enjoy that. I think you'd enjoy that. Pamela Suarez says, whenever I hit the heart button, nothing happens. I give up. Like I said, there are things I can't control. One of them is how YouTube works in some of these browsers. Lanier Harper comments that they are comedians. Yes, they're comedians. There are a lot of very smart comedians, and a lot of comedians do get political. That's how Steven Crowder started. He is a comedian, and he's one of the most politically active people on Rumble and YouTube now. And Louder with Crowder. If you're a conservative, you know who that is, and you respect him. See what else we got here. Spanky's asking Peter how he feels. Steve Rogers, I'm looking forward to meeting Mitch and Dr. Boz at the Tuesday lunch. Steve and I am looking forward to meeting all of you. And I basically said, I'm going to try to do a live stream from there. So, God, I hope it works. I hope the bandwidth is there. If not, I'll make a video. I'm going to record a lot of what happens to make some videos about it, because it's going to be an occasion and quite an event, I think, in our little circle. And I think a lot of people would enjoy seeing it, and might be an imperative for them to get to the next one that we do. Sherry's here. Hi, Sherry. Love and light from California. Good to see you. Good to see you. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. Always good to see you. Sherry comes in pretty regularly now into the panel on our Thursday night private live stream. Got the cutest little guinea pigs. And she got one of these little critters. They're supposed to be very relaxing from what I understand. Marvin Malley is here. Hello from East Texas. Go carnivore for life. It works. You bet your bippy it works. I'm telling you. It evidently does work. Tammy says she finds Dr. Boz a bit off. That's just me. Well, Tammy, can I withhold my agreeing with you? She's a nice lady. I really enjoy her. And no, there's so many great people out there. I guarantee you, every one of them disagrees with something that I say in my methods and philosophy about how I did it and how I think it works. And conversely, there's nobody out there who I agree 100% with either. So we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. C.B. Karnak. Familiar with King Crimson. Okay. And Dr. Boz was my favorite YouTuber until I discovered Bitch. Thank you, Steve. It's very flattering. Very flattering. And CB suggests maybe the restaurant has guest Wi-Fi, and they may, and it may, but it probably won't have the bandwidth necessary to actually stream and do an upload. But I think if I can get a good 5G signal in there, that's more than fast enough. More than fast enough. Mark Davis. Mark, here's some money for your trip next week. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you. Have I said thank you? If I haven't, let me say thank you. More than generous of you. You're a good guy, Mark, and I know you're in our private community. And I'm really anxious and really waiting until you actually come in and get to meet the group, because I would love to have that face-to-face time with you. You've been very good to me and my efforts, and I really appreciate it. I think you know how much. Thank you, Mark. You see something like that, my friends, it overwhelms you a little bit. So that was very, very, very nice. And I'm just going, since I got to the end of the chat, which I don't normally do, since I don't normally do it, I'm able to put these things up on the screen, which is kind of the way Kiltsy does it in his 5 a.m. live stream. He does it. I don't know if any of you have, I know some of you regularly show up at Kiltz's 5 a.m. I normally don't. I'm just getting ready and getting up and doing my morning chores and getting a little work done and getting out to do my own little morning video. But occasionally I'll tune in for 15 or 20 minutes. And what Kiltsy does is he doesn't do like what I do on my morning thing. I try to have something to talk about. What he does is basically what I'm doing now. He just goes down the chat, puts them up on the screen, interacts with them, and that's great. And he's always up. He's got such a positive attitude. I want to smack him. Nobody is that excited and up all the time. I have never seen the guy. Not when I talked to him in person, not when I did the live stream with him from Orlando. Nothing. I mean, I've never seen anybody that's so positive and so up. And it's great. I can't do it, unfortunately, but he is. And he motivates people, and he gives all these people pep talks, and I'm sure it helps everybody that watches him. And I admire him for that. Hear that, Kelsey? I'm looking forward to seeing him again. He's got a place in Sarasota, so he's just got to drive up to Tampa from Sarasota. And I hope all these people, I hope nothing stops them from actually showing up. I'm trying to pick out something where I'm not just jumping into the middle of your chats with each other. Sherry Morgan, truth, Sherry, absolute truth, or should I say word. The private community is epic. It is epic. It is what a bunch of people. And I'm a guy with no friends. And in the past year, I went from a guy with no friends. All my friends, people I actually would call a friend, they all died. I went from somebody with no friends to somebody right now that I have more people that care about me, that I consider friends, and I care about them, than I can count. It's a beautiful thing. It's what this is all about. Danny Carey from Tool is playing Bill's part on drums. Okay, you guys are talking to each other. Golf Addict says group hug. Yeah, we even had a group hug on last Thursday's live stream. Name it the Mark Davis Meetup Tuesday. Mark's got a smoker named after him in my carport. Laurie says, I can always see the overwhelm on Mitch's face every time Mark gives a gift. It's very special to watch. Thank you. It shows you. I'm not putting it on. It just takes me back. And what else we got here? I'm getting behind again. Morning coffee with Mitch. Here you go. I like that. Morning coffee with Mitch is a favorite part of my day. I love to hear that. I don't get a ton of views on those things, but what I do get is consistency. And that's so very important. I don't care if people come and go and watch 2 minutes of one of those things and say this isn't for me. That view doesn't mean anything. But when I consistently see that between 1,000 and 1,500 views on every one of those every morning, and I get the comments from all the same people, and I know that it's the same group, same audience, let's say, the same viewers that are part of my family now, that keeps me doing it. And it's, other than these live streams, the most important thing that I do. And all the rest of the stuff comes after. Sherry Morgan, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time and for creating this beautiful family. I love the friends met here, authentic and no judgment. You're a sweetheart. You're a sweetheart, kid. Very nice of you to say. Thank you so much. Thank you. Ellen says, what does Ellen say? I can't talk properly with this voice activation. I got to watch the road. Oh, Sherry, don't kill yourself. Ellen, don't kill yourself. Be careful. What are you doing trying to chat while you're riding your bicycle to the butcher shop? That's dedication. That is dedication. Spaggy says, Scooby the dog, I had to read that 3 times. I read it wrong. That's funny. That's funny. Looks like a compliment from Robbie. Thank you, Robbie. You motivate people too, Mitch. All of you do. You that are being truthful as yourself, Mitch. We've all been lied to for so long by our government, basically. It boils down to money. Yes. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And I'm there. I'm at the bottom of the chat. This would be a great time for me to have a sip, because I'm getting dry. I got clever today. Not something you guys would know about, but I did get clever. You see, this Saturday live streams, have just completely and totally thrown off the way I normally eat. I normally eat my first meal of the day around 11:30. Not because I'm doing it by the clock. I've just settled into that. I finish eating generally no later than 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And I eat nothing. I don't snack. That's part of my regimen is absolutely no snacks, not even a bite. If I start putting food in my mouth, that better be the beginning of a meal. And the entire meal better follow so that my digestive cycle would be like running a dishwasher full of dishes instead of a dishwasher with just one dish in it. And once the cycle starts, like a dishwasher, you have to let it go and complete before you start putting more dishes in it. You can't put dishes in the dishwasher when the cycle's 3/4 complete. They won't get cleaned properly. You can't put food in your stomach when it's 3/4 the way through a digestive cycle. It will not get digested properly. Don't do it. But we do it. We're a snacking society. It's all about snacking. It's all about constantly putting food in your mouth from the time you get out of bed to the time you get back in bed. Always chomping on something. This little snack, that little snack. I just need a cookie. What the hell? Donut? Thank you very much. Don't mind if I do. When we're designed to sit down, eat a meal, and stop eating for at least 3 or 4 hours and let it digest, because that's what it takes, about 3-4 hours for the whole cycle to run its course. And that's kind of when I learned to listen to my body's signals. That's kind of the way it fell out. And I'm not really ever hungry. And I know what that's like. To be starving, I'm starving to death. I got to eat something. And you start getting lightheaded and weak. And, I need it. I need something to eat. And what do you eat? You don't go for a ribeye when you're feeling like that. You go for a candy bar or a donut or something loaded with sugar. I never really get that hungry. I say, and I've said this many times, the hungriest I ever get is to say, if somebody said, Mitch, are you hungry? My answer would be, I could eat. I could eat. That's it. That's when I get to the point where I say I could eat, I'll eat. And that usually happens to me around 11 o'clock, between 11 and noon every day. I get done with my morning stuff. I come to a stopping point. I'm sure the clock, it's part of a cycle that I have. It's like I wake up every morning now. I used to wake up at 4 o'clock. Now, honest to God, it's crazy. It's absolutely nuts. I have a, like a Amazon Echo thing in my bedroom. And I can ask it what time it is. If I wake up and it's dark, I don't need to go for my watch or anything. I just yell out, what time is it? I say the magic word first, and what time is it? The time is 4:32 a.m. And sometimes I'll wake up in the middle of the night, but not as often as I used to. And lately, I'd say for the past month or so, I have been waking up precisely between 5:25 and 5:30 every day, within a 5-minute time frame. And I'm saying to myself, this is crazy. So this morning I wake up, it's still dark. I don't know if it's 1 o'clock in the morning or 6 o'clock in the morning, so I yell out, what time is it? The time is 5:27 a.m. Bingo! And it's happened that way every day. It's crazy. So yes, we do get on schedules, and I think my eating in those circadian rhythm respects, it just seems like when I get to 11 o'clock, I should maybe be eating. I could skip the meal and it wouldn't make any difference. I would not, the hunger wouldn't overpower me. There'd be no cravings, but I just do it. I just do it. It also fits in with my YouTube schedule, because if I want to do one of these bacon and egg and talk about something videos, if I started at 11, it gives me time to cook it, record the video, eat it, and go in and get it edited and uploaded and released by, say, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which is, according to the YouTube analytics, the best time for me to release a video, where the most number of my regular viewers are actually online. So this all started because I was telling you how Saturday screws up the schedule. So I go about 4 hours between meals. That means right about the time that I'm starting, 3 o'clock, is when I'd be starting to get ready and think about my second meal. And I usually end these things around 5 o'clock, which means that I'm off by a couple hours generally. It doesn't really throw me off too bad. So today I got smart and I said, aha, you're not going to get me today. I said, I'm going to be ready to eat as close to when this live stream ends as possible. So I kind of stick to because I don't want to throw this schedule off. It works great. I love it. And I got my ribeye steak in the sous vide out there, and it's timed to be absolutely ready at exactly 5 p.m. Exactly 5 p.m. And it will take me 5 minutes to heat up the carbon steel pan, throw some butter in there, sear off that steak, get out my wooden steak plate, my fancy knife, and be eating my dinner maybe an hour later than normal. So that's why I love this way of eating, is the simplicity and the speed and how little preparation it takes to really execute this lifestyle. It's just absolutely great, and I absolutely love it. Let's see what I got here. I think in that little speech, I probably got a little behind. Has anybody asked me any more questions that I've missed? Pardon me if I'm a little quiet here while I try to catch up on these things. Mark Oliver Blumenauer. There's a name that I have not seen before. Let me find it. Here it is. Hiya, Mark. Hello, everyone. Bought that fat grease thingy. Yes. And it's fantastic to keep the bacon fat and put it in the fridge. Saw all the time in your videos and now own it. Thanks, Mitch, for the tip. That is yes. Yes. And I find that I keep saving bacon grease. And I never use the bacon grease I saved. It seems like I create enough bacon grease on a regular basis, doing my bacon and eggs almost every day, that once a week or every 2 weeks, when I decide I'm going to need mass quantities of bacon grease to fry either salmon cakes or chicken wings or something, I seem to always, I'm at a point where I'm almost filling that thing up again. So I don't have to throw it away and dump it out, because I was dumping tons of bacon grease. I was making so much of it. So it works out great. The thing holds 32 ounces of bacon grease, a full quart of that's a lot of bacon grease. And it's not that expensive, and it filters it out. So I love the thing. I love it. Every day I'm pouring something into it. I don't put anything in there but bacon grease. I don't put, some people mix all their cooking greases together. They mix the suet and the tallow, the lard. Nah, keep it pure bacon grease. pure Wright's bacon grease, to be honest, and works out great. And I'm glad you're enjoying it. It is a handy gadget. Grandma Prepper has a question for me. Where is that? I have to find it over here so I can put it on the screen. Here it is. What YouTubers do you like to watch? Oh man, my YouTube subscription list is eclectic, very eclectic to say the least. I'm interested in a lot of things. And it's not all carnivore, not all diet related. As a matter of fact, most of the time, I don't watch much of that stuff at all. There's very few carnivore YouTubers I ever watch. Because I'm always on a path to learn something I don't know. That's why I watch YouTube. I don't watch YouTube just for dumb entertainment. I watch movies for that. Stop thinking and get lost in something. When I watch YouTube, it's to learn something. I don't watch politics on YouTube, although like most people, we all get that stuff in our feed. I don't care for that because that's just some talking head giving his opinion, his own, based on his agenda and his income and his corruption and everything else. And I don't need that noise. I've already formed my opinion. Nobody is going to change my mind in any major way or tell me something that's going to wake me up to how wrong I've been all my life, and people think they can do that and they can't. The life's been too long. My exposure to this stuff has been way too much. So I don't watch those things. I can't tell you what individual YouTubers I watch, but the areas of interest that I have are photography and cinematography, aviation, and that includes drones, but all aviation, from big passenger jet stuff, 787, 747, that. There's a few pilots that I watch. You have YouTube channels that are interesting to me. And they talk about things like events and accidents and just pilot stuff. I watch a few drone guys because I still love the drones and I need to start flying mine again. I have fully recovered from any balance issues that I had from my head injury. And I promised I'm going to do it when I get a minute and throw the goggles on and take all of you for a ride down through the trees and looping and climbing and diving. These FPV drones are like being in an aerobatic airplane, and it's wonderful. And I see all that through the goggles when I'm flying them. I like to watch occasionally, and only a very few providers who talk about the inside scoop of how YouTube actually works and how their algorithm is working. It's interesting to me, and sometimes I get a tip from those videos, and I watch one or two of those providers. Hard to say and actually remember offhand. One day what I'll do is I'll just spend a few minutes and go and just put my YouTube recommended feed up and we'll go through it. Unfortunately, the channel that I watch YouTube on is not the same channel that I'm on YouTube. In other words, I have a second channel on my original Gmail address where I've joined the premium, so I don't have to watch ads. And that's whenever I watch YouTube, I watch it on that channel. And that lets me see whether my old guy stuff is getting publicized, because that channel is a subscriber to my old guy channel. So, but anyway, I hope that answered your question. Sherry, where is it? Steve Rogers had a question, but Sherry, here it is. Sherry, thank you, sweetie. Thank you so much. I showed up a bit late before. Did you do any more pork barrel experiments? I did. And I said, basically, I did some today. I filmed them. The film is in the can. I had a result. I had a verdict. I'm not telling anybody. Tomorrow afternoon, I'm going to release that video. I think on the thumbnail of that video will be a picture of me holding my thumb sideways, doing this in the video just for suspense. But yes, I did do one. So, and I'm going to be doing a couple more too. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. But I really don't want to spill the beans on that. Thank you so much. Always appreciate your help, Sherry. Thank you. And I saw that Mitch, do you ever watch Probable Cause General Aviation Accident with Dan Klein? No, I haven't seen that one. There's a lot of guys that do those things. I subscribe to, what the hell's his name? 74 Gear or something like that. He's an airline pilot, cargo pilot. I like Jimmy's World. You ever watch Jimmy's World? He's a crazy man. He buys these old general aviation airplanes, has all kinds of adventures. He bought one of Elvis Presley's old private jets, and turned it into a motorhome. Of course, the thing had been sitting out in the desert for 40 years, and it was never going to fly anyway. And I think he paid $500,000 for the stupid thing. But he's just one of those guys on YouTube that's just fun to watch. I kind of follow automotive and electric cars. Not that I want one, but I find it fascinating because I'm fascinated by the technology. And I'm a technology buff, so I like to keep up with that stuff. I try not to watch too much in the line of politics. And I don't like to watch mindless stuff. I like to watch intelligent people on YouTube. Not the really big time YouTubers like Mr. Beast or any of those guys that what's the other one's name? The gamer. Anyway, that shows you how important he is to me. It's just not for me. I don't watch any TikTok videos. I don't watch Instagrams. I stay off of Twitter. I can't and maintain my sanity, insert myself into the dialogue that's out there on most of social media today. Even if it's just trying to associate myself with those like-minded people. The trolls are always in there, always injecting their nonsense every time they get a chance. I don't even want to see it. I just do not want to see it. So I hope that answered your question about my YouTube stuff. But the one thing I don't watch, not that I don't respect them, I respect them all greatly, greatly. I don't watch Ken Berry's stuff unless I see a brand new video on a relevant subject that I'm currently trying to learn about. I don't watch that stuff. I don't watch his live streams anymore. And I used to be a firm regular. I was a member of his private community for a little while. I like the hell out of the guy. I admire him. But it's not a place that I should be spending my time. Same thing with Anthony Chafee, a great guy, smart as hell, knows what he's talking about. Everybody should watch him. But most of his stuff is live streams or reposted clips from live streams answering the same questions. And I've heard the answer to all of those questions. But If he comes out with a video on a topic that he hasn't covered before or in a different format, I'll watch it in a minute. And they're all presented to me, so I like him. Sean Baker, pretty much the same thing. But I watch, his videos are very short, and he's got a clever staff that make him appealing. Clickbaity, but not clickbait. And I watch, maybe every couple of days I'll watch one of his 2 or 3 minute videos. But most of those, I don't watch, never anymore do I watch any of, and even the good ones, the women carnivore or keto people. I just don't. Most of them, their message is for women. I find that their message is primarily for women. And I've learned, Isabella says Bart K is a clever one. I love Bart, and I hate him. I admire Bart. I really do. He interviewed me on his live stream. He was one of the first places on my face ever showed up off my channel. He's a good guy. We have nothing in common. We haven't talked since. I think he's a smart man. I think he's very misunderstood. He has his shtick, his act, his motives, and I have mine, and we couldn't be more different if we tried. But I respect the guy, and I certainly respect his knowledge of physiology and biochemistry. But I don't watch much of his stuff anymore. You can only watch so much. And in the carnivore space, there is nobody that I hang on anymore because I'm doing my thing, and my thing takes up most of my time. And there's just, and this is one of the reasons, not that I hate watching carnivore or keto videos, it's just that when I go to YouTube these days, it's to get away from carnivore for a few minutes because that's become my whole life. If you were a car mechanic all day, you wouldn't be watching car mechanic videos. You'd be watching something else. Boyd Lamb says, question, note that Steve Rogers is flying in for the meetup. Really? I didn't know that. A pilot. Cool. Make sure we talk about airplanes, my friend. I don't know if you knew this or not, but Kiltsey's a pilot too. He flies around in a Citation. So, I don't know if he's the pilot. I think he can fly it. I think he's the pilot. I think he's got another airplane too. But, that's great. Where are you flying in from? Trying to keep up with the chat here. But that's great. I used to fly everywhere. I would fly to Atlanta for something like this. I'd jump in my airplane and be in Atlanta in an hour and a half. 2 hours. Be in Key West in an hour from where I live. The Bahamas in an hour or less. I don't do that anymore. I don't even want to do it anymore. I did it all my life. Aunt B is here. Hi, Aunt B. How you doing? Good to see you. Let me try to find the bottom of the chat. I have really gotten behind. There's Golf Addict says hi to Aunt B. Oaktown Girl is here. How you doing? Good to see you. Talking to each other. Aunt B says she's late to the chat. Oh, you're flying. You're not the pilot. You're flying as a retired. Oh, even better. Even better. Interesting. Retired Delta mechanic. My son-in-law, my daughter's husband, he might come. My daughter's coming to this meetup. He's the chief mechanic at ExecuJet out there in Tampa, and he works on all the business jets. But he's their chief mechanic. He's quite a talented aircraft mechanic, way up there. I don't know if he's an inspector yet or has that, but he is way up there. They all come to him. Everybody comes to him for an opinion and for help. Good guy named Rob. So that's great. We'll talk about airplanes. And what else? What else have we got here? We're coming up on almost time to think about sending y'all home. I'm so glad to see. I love to see the way all you guys chat with each other. Sometimes that makes me feel like I'm superfluous to this whole thing. Oh, Ellen, you survived your trip. Okay, got my basket full of meat and heading home. Have a great weekend, Mitch, and everyone, if I don't get back here before the end. Well, you be careful. Not that you can hear me, but thank you. And I see down here at the bottom, Sherry Morgan is talking. Lori Weisel, thank you. I'm the glue. That's nice. That's quite a compliment. I appreciate that, Lori. And what else I got for you before we close it down? Been live, it says here, for 1 hour, 56 minutes, but that includes the 5-minute pre-show. And I told you why I do that. Most people, a lot of people who do live streams do a countdown. Usually you don't get to see anything. You usually just get to see a countdown timer. I just love showing you this. I don't know why. You see me getting ready for it. You see me, I'll turn around and wave at you. Get to see my gorgeous bald head. And watch what I'm doing, pushing buttons and just getting ready. Till I push that button, I'm here. Or this button, and I'm over here. Just like big time broadcasting. So how you doing, Mitch? I'm doing fine. How are you, Mitch? Back to you. Did that work? No, I'm doing fine, Mitch. Back to you. Okay. That's how they do it on the news. And I did that in my little funny video the other day about the study. What was it? Which one was that? It was the... oh, yeah, this one. Didn't really go anywhere. People weren't all that enthusiastic about it. Didn't get many views. I thought it was funny as hell. Groundbreaking new study suggests pigs may fly. I did everything in that video, every trick, every word, misleading word I could find to use to actually act like I was saying something when in reality I was saying absolutely nothing. And I did it even on the thumbnail. Study suggests. When somebody suggests something, that's nothing concrete in that. Pigs may fly. Well, they also may not fly. It says those kind of things say nothing. And the whole video was ad-libbed right off the top of my head. And I just filled it up full of this kind of nebulous language that says absolutely nothing, yet expecting you to believe that pigs are going to be falling out of the sky and you need to buy basically insurance to protect you if you get hurt when a pig falls on your head. And I don't know if people didn't get it or the thumbnail wasn't, they might have taken it seriously. They might not have realized that it was a joke. I don't know. But it was the worst performing video that I ever put up in my whole career and history on this channel. No video that I ever made, not from day one, got that few number of views. And I said, well, that's what I get for being funny. See if I ever try to do that. Oaktown Girl says she completely missed the video. Maybe it didn't get pushed out there. Some people watched it, but it's there. Pigs Pigs May Fly. It's there, and you can find it if you want to watch it. I thought it was a friggin' riot. I was watching when I uploaded it. I watched the playback of it. I was laughing my ass off. I thought it was the funniest thing in the world. I acted like I was two different people, both named Mitch. And I would be in this camera and I would say, Mitch, tell us your impression of this study that we just heard. Well, Mitch, glad you asked me that question. And I would go on like that. Back to you, Mitch. And back to this person. And when I watched the playback of that, I hadn't rehearsed any of it. It was just all completely ad-lib right off the top of my head. I was just making it up as I went. Had no idea what I was going to say. And it just came together, and it didn't take me very long, and I thought it would be a riot. I thought I'd get 1 million views on it. Nothing. It's like the stock market. You just can't predict this stuff. You cannot predict how people are going to react, whether YouTube, how they're even going to handle it, or whether they're even going to push it out there. Because if they don't push it out there, I don't care how good it is or important it is, nobody's going to see it. The first thing I look at when I look at YouTube to decide which video I want to watch, I look at the view count for two reasons. Of course, I want to see if it's popular, but I also want to see if the views that it got, if there's something wrong with that number. When I see a video that says Anthony Chafee, MD on it, it's been out for, let's say, 24 hours or 2 days, and it's got less than 3,000 views, and it may be an interview with somebody important, there's something wrong. Something wrong. When I see an interview video of Sean Baker's that's been out for a week, and it's got 20-something hundred views, something wrong. Something's happening. And it's not Sean Baker, and it's not Anthony Chafee. And that tells me a lot about maybe why my view counts are down. Not that we can do anything about it. We keep on marching. Anyway, enough of that. Thank you all so much. Thank you so much. And I'm closing out this live stream with almost 100 people. When I see that, that means that you're still here. You haven't bailed on me. And that's flattering, and I appreciate that. So we're going to call it an afternoon.